Dereck Chisora put Eddie Hearn and Sky Sports on blast at today's press conference for his fight against Joseph Parker. Officially on the undercard or co-main event with Prograis versus Taylor, World Boxing Super Series 140-pound final. Now, Chisora's gripe is that he believes that him and Parker, mainly him, that he's bringing the majority of fan interest to this event, and therefore he should be top of the bill. And he says that if he's not going to be top of the bill, if he's not going to be main event, then he wants more money. Now, we've seen Dereck Chisora pull a stunt before, by his own admission, to try and get more money out of Eddie Hearn. He threatened to pull out of the Takam fight, claiming that he was injured. After the fight, in the post-fight interview, he admitted in front of Eddie Hearn that he wasn't actually injured. It was just a ploy to get more money. Dereck Chisora has very little respect for promoters, understandably so. If you're a boxer and you know the history of boxing promoters, you'll know that they are generally very exploitative of fighters. It's not as bad today generally as it used to be back in the days, but still, the promoters are in a greater position of power. Certainly a promoter like Eddie Hearn, they're in a greater position of power than the average fighter. So I can understand Chisora's gripe, wanting to be top of the bill and wanting to be compensated for the fact that he believes he's bringing a majority of fans to this event. You know, it's going to be box office and whatnot. Yeah, so essentially what I'm saying is I think Dereck Chisora's right. He is going to bring more fans and more box office viewers than Prograis or Josh Taylor. However, isn't this something that should have been ironed out at the negotiating table rather than him trying to pull a stunt at his press conference? Then again, maybe it was Hearn and Sky who pulled a stunt. Maybe they sweetened Chisora up and made him feel like, or made him think that him versus Parker was going to be top of the bill. And then all of a sudden when it was announced and he started seeing the posters, hang on, Prograis and Taylor is top of the bill. So maybe Chisora feels like they slighted him. Who knows? Chisora might be legally, contractually bound to go ahead with this fight now. He might not be able to pull out. But if he can pull out, then I wouldn't be surprised at all if Dereck Chisora does get paid more money. If he can pull out without any legal consequences, expect him to get a bit extra in his bank account from Sky and Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn actually said that depending on the fan response to what Chisora has said, Sky might have to look at it and say, you know what, we're going to put Chisora versus Parker as co-main event or top of the bill rather than Prograis versus Taylor. Now, Prograis versus Taylor is obviously a higher level fight in the sense that both guys are unbeaten. It's the final of the World Boxing Super Series. It's a world title fight, etc. Unification. Chisora versus Parker is not. It's a non-title fight. But at the end of the day, boxing is all about, let me not just say boxing, but what you get paid in boxing is all dependent on how many viewers you can draw, irrespective of how good you are. A great example would be when Conor McGregor fought Floyd Mayweather. Conor McGregor, who was having his pro debut as a boxer, got paid more than just about any Floyd Mayweather opponent. I think only Pacquiao, maybe one or two others got paid more, maybe De La Hoya. But, and I'm not sure about that, okay? I haven't checked their purses recently to know. But certainly, McGregor got paid more than most of Floyd Mayweather's opponents. More than Maidana and Guerrero and Ortiz and all those guys. He got paid more, even though all those guys would have beaten him. And he was, fighting his pro debut against Mayweather. Because it all comes down to how many people want to pay to see you fight. And more people wanted to see Conor McGregor fight Mayweather than wanted to see Maidana fight Mayweather. That's just the truth of it. There's no point in getting angry about it. That's just the reality of the situation. And given that fact, I can see why Dereck Chisora is up in arms about not being top of the bill. Him and Parker not being top of the bill. Because how many tickets is Josh Taylor versus Prograis really going to sell in London? You guys tell me. All right. I don't think it's going to sell a crazy amount of tickets, to be honest with you. I think that Chisora in London is a ticket seller. People know Parker for his fight against AJ, but more so for his fight against Dillian Whyte, which was a real barn burner. Chisora always gets a tremendous reception at the O2. We all know this. So, yeah, I'm with Dereck Chisora on this one. I think, he's right to feel like he should be top of the bill. But he also has to look at it from a marketing perspective. They're trying to sell a pay-per-view, okay? And it looks better when you've got a world title fight headlining, when you're trying to sell a pay-per-view. Because when it's a non-title fight, I know they've done it with like Dillian Whyte versus Chisora and Dillian Whyte versus Parker. But Dillian Whyte was on the ascendancy. He was seen as a guy on the fringe, on the brink of a world title shot against an AJ or a Wilder, etc. With Chisora and Parker, we don't have that same thing right now. Both guys are kind of on the rebound from losses, and you know what I mean? We don't really have the same momentum behind either one of them as there was behind Dillian Whyte when he was doing pay-per-views. You understand? So I can understand from a marketing point of view why Sky might want to put Taylor Prograis top of the bill. So, there's two sides to every story. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Bottom line is, it was funny. Dereck Chisora don't give a damn about embarrassing people or making it awkward for anybody. He speaks his mind and says whatever the hell he wants to say. And this was another example of that. And by the way, before I close this out, it was revealed by David Haye in this interview here that Dereck Chisora split with Dave Coldwell. He says it was just a logistical thing, that Chisora didn't want to travel up to Rotherham and Coldwell didn't want to travel down to London, so they just couldn't, try and, they couldn't iron out the issue there with regards to the logistics. But knowing how awkward a human being Dereck Chisora can be, I wouldn't be surprised if there's more to it. Because, let's be real, Dereck Chisora, when he was with Don Charles, he went up to Scotland for training camps before. You remember that? When he was going up to Fort William, and he said he loved it up there in Fort William, doing training camps there. That's what he was doing. And now he says he can't travel up to Rotherham for a training camp? I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think that there is some kind of issue there in terms of their personalities. I know they might deny it, but I don't buy it, people. If he really believes that Dave Coldwell is a good trainer and is getting the best out of him, then he would continue traveling up to Rotherham. If Coldwell believed in Dereck Chisora that much, he would come down to London, vice versa. So the fact that they're going their separate ways, yeah, I think that Chisora has maybe become a little bit too difficult for Dave Coldwell to handle. And that's why they're not working together. I could be wrong, of course. I'm not an insider, but that's what I strongly suspect. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It was a funny press conference. It was, funny seeing the guys up there. Prograis actually tried to respond to Chisora when Chisora was in mid-flow and quickly realized it wasn't a good idea. This guy's about, 100 pounds heavier than Prograis or something? He realized, it's not a good idea to upset this guy. Let me leave it alone. So, yeah, Del Boy will be Del Boy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. It's happening. I'm out.